The big question is who is abducting these youth because the government has denied.
It's the government. They can deny, but it's the government. The government is the one that knows where these youth are. But from the young people we spoke to, they mentioned they were under the custody of the government. We have not lost an
As in your
election.
petition, the election, the Supreme
We
Court said.
accepted the loss for the sake of the country. But from 2007, 2013, 2022, ODM has never lost an election.
Nibras Integrated Academy were a new school located on Mutati Road in Parklands. Nibras means light in Arabic, and inshallah we plan on illuminating the lives of all the children who will pass through our school. Nibras Integrated Academy is an Islamic integrated school whereby we take pride in our name as we mean light. We are currently offering the CBC curriculum from playgroup all the way to grade 5. So our name inspires us to prepare students for academic success, not only for life but life beyond the classroom, helping our students to grow to be compassionate, thoughtful individuals, and most importantly, children with very good akhlaq and iman in accordance to our religion and teachings. We have put in place the integrated part so that we can cater for our deen and iman. Very good akhlaq is what is our foundation, and inshallah we plan to take Arabic as a language, and we're very keen in that as our teacher will only be speaking Arabic during the lessons. Our school is well equipped with high-end CCTV cameras in our compound and classrooms, which is monitored throughout the day by a security administrator. The school has also put in place a transport whereby it will also have a lady in the car to ensure the safety of our children. It will come and pick them by 7 in the morning and drop them off at 3 in the evening, inshallah. Our November intake is currently in progress, and I would urge you to bring your children to Nibras Integrated Academy and be a part of the beautiful community that we have put in place.
Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel Suleiman Bukhari. Today I have for you Umulker Harun. She is the second youngest MP in the 30th Parliament. I will be interviewing her about her political journey and what she has achieved so far. Allow me to welcome her to my YouTube channel Suleiman Bukhari.
Thank you, Suleiman. Thank you so much.
Thank you. First, let's start this interview with by telling us a brief history about yourself.
My name is Umulker Harun, popularly known as Umi. I come from Garissa County, born and raised in Garissa, and I am currently a representative of youth in the 13th National Assembly.
You are the second youngest MP in this 30th Parliament.
Yeah.
How did you got this nomination?
I served a lot in the social advocacy space, and I eventually transitioned into active politics because when you're in the advocacy space, you tend to lobby members of parliament to adopt policies, sponsor bills, and I thought it's always easy to work from the inside. So during the elections, I joined the Azimio campaign secretariat as a communication officer, and I served there until at the time of my appointment. I worked closely under the mentorship of my party leader, Honorable Raila Odinga, who held my hand, introduced me to the campaign secretariat, appointed me in the campaign board, and I served as a youth rep for the campaign board. And when the time for nominations came, I politely requested if I could serve as a member of parliament, and I pitched my CV. I told him I can do this, I have this capacity, I have this experience, I can deliver. So he said, go for it if you think you can, and I don't think you are not qualified, you're qualified, you're a good match, and the party will support you. So that's how I ended up in politics.
During the swearing in of the members of parliament, there was some information that went viral on social media.
I know what you want to ask, and yes. I will again deny for the 18th time. That did not happen. That is propaganda.
How did you know the question that I was?
I knew because I've been asked many times. It was a politically heated period. Yeah, Azimio, we had lost the elections and we had gone to court, and the winning party was trying to score as many points against us. So they tried to trivialize a matter that wasn't there. Honorable Raila gave me this job, My sister, Winnie Odinga, was also my boss at the campaign secretariat, and she mentored many of us, not just myself. There are many other women who are serving in county assemblies, courtesy of the campaign team. So I think that was just propaganda by the winning team to just make our side look bad and say, oh, they're trying to snatch the nomination from her. Of course, it's challenging. I'm not saying it's easy looking for a political seat. It is the hardest. If you ask me if I wish I ran for office or if I went for nomination at that time, I would have run for office. That's because ODM is a party with over 6 million membership, and the nominated slots are less than 5. Now imagine competing for a slot where millions of people want. Of course, the interest is big. So the propaganda was bound to happen, but nothing of that sort happened. So
Since you are
denied.
since you are part of the campaign team, let me ask you a question about some of the theories that were given about why ODM or Azimio lost the election. What is your version of the many theories that are out in the public?
No, I mean, politics is a game of numbers. And if you ask me, I don't think we've ever lost an election. We've not lost.
You lost the election.
We have not lost an
Azimio
election.
petitioned the election. The Supreme
We
Court said
accepted the loss for the sake of the country. But from 2007, 2013, 2022, ODM has never lost an election.
But every time the Azimio petitioned the elections, the Supreme Court upheld the election.
No,
that means you fairly lose the election.
No, we accept to fairly lose for the interest of the country. Otherwise, if we go hammering that we have won, we reject the Supreme Court ruling, then the country will burn. So always we choose the country, but we've never lost an election. If the servers are opened, we have always been winning the elections, but we always choose to work with the ruling government. And you see, the government of the day will always reach out to us for guidance. Like in the current arrangement, we've donated some of our expertise to go and work for the ruling government. Not that we are in bed together. ODM is a party on its own. We've never lost an elections, but when we accept that we've lost it, we choose it for the sake of the country. That's it.
I will leave that to my audience to judge.
They will agree with me.
Okay, let's move on. There are some bills that you have sponsored, especially the bill on the Kenya Sign Language. Tell us more about this bill and why this bill and not some other issues.
I served as an advocate for quality education. I used to campaign for equality and supporting the different sects, different groups to get access to quality education. So in my advocacy time, I got to interact a lot with the deaf community. There are 2.5 million registered deaf people. And at any given time, there are at least 20,000 learners in a classroom who are struggling to fit because of different challenges. And I always ask, whenever I'm making my pitch, we've all gone to university. How many times have you sat in a classroom with a deaf person? And the answer is always no. It's not that they don't go to university. They don't transition because they're not given the capacity and the resources they need. The bill will now mandate all government institutions or all taxpayer institutions that benefit from the taxpayers' money to provide interpreters for deaf people. That way they're able to get jobs. The private sector turns away deaf people because it's an extra cost to hire a deaf person plus the interpreter. The bill is also seeking to make sign language a compulsory language. The Constitution recognizes English, Swahili, and sign language. We can speak English, Swahili, but we don't speak sign language. So the bill will introduce sign language as a mandatory language so that in years to come, we eliminate the barriers of communication for deaf people. The bill also talks of creating the Kenya Sign Language Council, which will be a regulatory body to regulate people who are trained as interpreters and register them with the board so that they're able to be identified and qualify their papers. Sometimes you find people who don't know the interpretation, but they claim to be interpreters. So this body is there to regulate such people. And it will also support the deaf people through subsidizing the telecommunication costs. For example, mobile data are very expensive. When deaf people use video conferencing, it's very expensive to maintain that. So this is to also work with the telecom providers or telco companies to subsidize the cost for deaf people.
What about the private sectors?
Private sector, if the law is there, then they have to abide. They have to have an interpreter. They also have to ensure they hire deaf people, because the constitution says at least gender has to be factored in and disability. What private sector do is they look for other disabilities, but they don't hire deaf or blind people because it's costly for them. But they can easily put up a ramp for somebody who is on a wheelchair. So even in terms of who is being hired, it has to be fair. You don't have to have 3 people on a wheelchair hired in your office in the name of meeting the disability quota.
Okay, I think it will pass through. There's some other issues that you have time again raised in the parliament about the youth abduction in Garissa County, and also floods that have caused a lot of issues to the Garissa farmers.
Yeah.
So first of all, talk us through the abductions that are going on in Garissa County.
I think historically, as a community, we faced a lot of injustices, going by the time of Wagala massacre, the Garis Gubai massacre. We've always fought to claim our space. Why? We are Somalis and we are Kenyan citizens. Kenya has 44 communities. Somalis are one of them. So abducting us because we are stereotyped or we are ethnically profiled is wrong. And as leaders, if we remain silent in the face of injustice, then we are aiding the perpetrators. So for me, my fight is that the constitution is clear. Kenya is a government under the rule of law. If the youth are doing things that are against the rule, let them be arraigned in court. That's why the courts benefit from taxpayer. That's why the judges are paid, so that they serve the community. If you think our youth are doing ABCD that is not correct, take them to court. But I'm against abduction. And that's why I will always speak about it, so that no young person is abused simply because they are deemed to be criminals or whatever bracket they put them in.
Do you have the figures, the number of youth that are missing?
No, I don't have, but I know we have quite a number that are missing, some that have not even been brought forward, but the families are grieving their disappearances.
The big question is, who is abducting these youth? Because the government has denied.
It's the government. They can deny, but it's the government. The government is the one that knows where these youth are. They are the ones who have the machinery. If someone comes with an unmarked vehicle, who could it be? Then if it's not the government, we are at a bigger risk of an enemy that we don't know and the government has not found out. Because the challenges such abductions bring is, for example, you are an accomplished journalist. If I think of you as a competition and I decide to abduct you today, you get my point? Abductions open room for bad people to take advantage. If the government is abducting people who have business rivalry issues will abduct each other and they will still blame the government. Yeah. So it's time this has to stop.
Are there proof or evidence that implicates the government in these issues?
The boys who were released, there are enough proof. The youth who were abducted and were released, they were in government chambers.
How do they prove that the abductors was the government? Okay.
We get feedback. It's just that we encourage them not to go to the media. But from the young people we spoke to, they mentioned they were under the custody of the government.
How did they know that?
I mean, do you insinuate there are people who are abducting us in our own country that the government doesn't know about?
You are an MP, you have opportunity to meet with the security apparatus, the CSS for securities. What did they tell you?
They always take a political route And the thing is, and I always say, government does their job. If they think abduction is the way to go, they do it. But the mandate is with us as representatives. When the government abducts, we have to fight for our people. Wao waendelee kufunga watu, sisi tutateta. It will be a cat and mouse game until they stop. Eventually they will give up.
Okay, let's move on. This week you have announced that you will be taking Kengen to court.
Yeah.
For what reason?
Kengen have caused a lot of havoc in our farm areas, and food security is a big component in not just the country but globally. What Kengen does is, whenever there is overflow, they release the spillage, and it comes from upstream towards us. So it affects Tana River, Garissa County areas. And the challenge is farmers normally work as per the weather predictions. Like now, it's the weather season. They are unable to plant because they are worried in a month or so, all this rain that is happening across the country, that overflow will come to us. So they are not planting, meaning they are not making money. Is the government compensating them? The previous spillage that happened, the water that came into the farms had components of oil. So they were even releasing wastage into the rivers. That is another case we'll have to present because, number one, it's an environmental crisis when you're releasing dirty spillage into the waters. The plants, after the water goes or the water disappears, the plants burn. Literally, like they look very burnt kabisa. So the challenge is, why is this happening? What kind of water are they even releasing into our rivers? So those are the things that we will take to court with tangible evidence.
How confident are you that you will win this case, which is against the government?
I'm confident because we are the people who are facing all this injustice, and I think it's time they had to respond to their crimes.
As a young legislator, what are the main challenges that you have encountered so far?
Politics is hard. It's not easy. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's a very high demanding job. I am a family person. I am a mother. I have one child. I have a husband who needs me. I have an extended family that need me. I have siblings. So imagine balancing all that with the day-to-day needs of the public. It's not easy. And I tend to create a balance. When it's family time, I spend time with my family. When it is work, I spend time at work. I try to give it a balance of both. And if my husband says I need to spend time at home, I will do it.
There's some other challenges that female politicians go through, of which I think you have read in Millie Odhiambo's book, where she said there's some, what she termed bottom-up approach.
Yes.
Was that an issue for you?
No. It happens in the political scene.
Yes.
It's a transactional space. You are either transacting your skills, your time, your money, or what Millie calls bottom-up. Whichever part you choose to give, that's up to you. But as a person of principle, there are things that you have to choose. If it comes to a point where you have to compromise your principles, I don't think there's any job worth it. So for me, alhamdulillah, I did not encounter it. I had other challenges like penetrating the political space. How do I make sure that I am the most competitive for this position, and why do I deserve the nomination? So I had to work extra hard in the campaign. I had to strategize from the perspective of media and communication, pitch my CV to the right people. But as an individual, I did not experience that particular issue. But sexual harassment is a big challenge for any woman, including cyberbullying, which is aiding sexual harassment nowadays. You're a woman, somebody tells you you can make ABCD if you come to me. It happens. It's not something that doesn't happen, only that it hasn't happened to me yet. So for me, my advice is for young women, it is a tough space. So if you're joining the political scene, make sure you have the mental strength and never compromise your principles. If it reaches that point, nothing is worth it. No job is worth it.
Thanks for that advice. I think my viewers, young women who aspire to become politicians,
Yeah.
I think they will find it very, very useful.
Yeah.
We are approaching the 2027 election. What are your plans for 2027 election?
For me, I am going to take the advice of the public. If they think I can do a good job, because now I'm not an elected official, I represent the party interest, but I just have very strong passion for community. But going by the leadership that has been there, I think the bar is too low, and I can do a better job if given the chance. So a lot of my team and supporters push me to run for the woman rep position. And if the time comes in 2027 and that is an option on the table, I think I can do a good job, because honestly the bar is on the floor completely. It's too low. We've had leaders who have made these political positions very transactional and to their interest. So if given the chance, I think I will do a good job.
We
So
have
it's a matter of when and what.
So you have started listening to the ground.
I've started listening to the ground, but I'm not very decisive yet. It could be woman rep. If they think I can do a good job as a governor, why not? Why do I have to limit myself with a woman rep seat?
Okay, we will see in 2027.
Yeah.
We have come to the end of our short interview.
Yeah.
What's your parting shot?
My parting shot is let's be kind to each other, and when given positions of power, not just an MP or governor or woman rep, even county officials, please do a good job, because it will reach a time where you might amass as much wealth as you want today, but to what end? You leave all this glory on earth. So for me, my advice is, when you're a leader, please think of your hereafter, because you will be questioned in time how you served the people on the day of judgment. You will be answerable to how you represented your people. So for me, it's a matter of principle. I want to do my best. I probably want to use this chance as my path to Jannah. So I'll do my best. And that's the advice I want to give to leaders, because it's a tempting space. You have so many things at your disposal which can force you to become a corrupt person. So let's be kind to each other, and let's be good representatives of the people.
Thank you, Umi. Thanks for your time. We end our interview there. Viewers, that is the end of my interview with Umulker. Till we meet again. Bye-bye for now.